Hi, I'm Cassie Angelo, and this is my case study 3. So the client description, he's a 5-year-old male. He's diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. His communication is fully verbal. He has difficulty detecting objects in the natural environment. He also has difficulty with matching identical objects presented to him. So he cannot recognize the objects in picture to visual forms. And the behavior of concern is that we want him to increase independent tax of presented items and also increase visual perception skills, so matching identical objects. So the intervention that we used was a match to sample, and we taught this through discrete trial training. So first we did 2D to 3D matching. So we set up an array of 3 items in front of the client. We presented the matching item to the client and provided the SD match. Once the client mastered all of the 2 to 3D matching targets, we moved on to 3D to 2D matching. So again, we set up an array of 3 picture cards in front of the client. We presented the matching picture card to the client and provided the SD match. And again, once he mastered all of the trials of the 3D to 2D matching, we then moved on to receptive identification. That's when we set up an array of 3 cards in front of the client. We provided the SD of find the cookie. And then for the next trial that we would run, we would shuffle up the cards, and then we would represent the SD of find the cookie. And we use cookies because this was the client's most reinforcing item. So we also taught tacting in a natural environment. So how we did this was we presented client cookies to snack on. And then we would hold up a cookie and present the SD of what's this. The client then independently tacted cookie. And then the client continues to snack on the cookies following the independent response. The reinforcement that we provided to him was verbal praise. So this looked like, great job, that is a cookie. And then the reinforcement schedule that we used was a fixed ratio of 1 to start, but then we switched to a variable ratio of 3. So the stimulus class. The stimulus class is food. And what we did was we generalized to different types of foods. So we did chips, goldfish, popcorn, etc. So we stayed within the same stimulus class. And then since food is such a broad topic and there's many foods, what we did is we stayed within the snack foods. So because we were doing cookies, we then did chips, goldfish, popcorn, things like that, before we moved on to fruits, vegetables, things of those sorts. And then once the client mastered cookie, we would then introduce a new food for him to work on. So the derived stimulus relations. So symmetry. This is what we started with. So the client is presented a picture of a cookie and given the SD of match. The client then matches the picture of a cookie to the item of a cookie. Once symmetry was down, we moved to reflexivity. So we showed the client a picture of a cookie, and then the client matched the picture of the cookie to the picture of a cookie that was presented on the table. Once reflexivity was down, we then moved to transivity. So this is when we showed the client the written word cookie and placed it next to the picture card of the cookie that was on the table. We then showed the client a picture of a cookie and placed it next to the object cookie on the table. And then the client then responds by tacting cookie. And that's everything. Thanks for watching.